Hey guys, welcome back to CarPodChats, the podcast where we say what every salesperson wishes they could. I'm your host, Dan Malave, and today we're throwing the training manual out the window and just venting because today's episode is all about the utter insanity we've all dealt with behind the desk. I'm talking about the wildest, dumbest, most outrageous things customers have said and done. And trust me, they're not made up. This episode is a dealership group therapy session. So sit back, relax, and prepare to ask yourself over and over again, did they really say that out loud? Yeah, they did. Let's start with the royalty. The people who walk into the dealership like they're auditioning for a reboot of Succession, but they've got a 540 credit score and a Subway napkin for a budget. I once had a guy strut in wearing flip-flops and a Rolex. Real or not, I don't know. And tell me, I'm looking for a boss deal. I want something aggressive. Make it spicy. First off, sir, this is not Chipotle. Second, he wanted a brand new truck. Not a truck, the truck. Fully loaded, 4x4, leather sunroof, navigation, towing package. I gave him a quote. He laughs and says, "No, I said I want a boss deal. I've seen better on Instagram." I said, "I've seen better six-packs on Instagram too, but here we are." Then there was the woman who came in and refused to speak to me because I was just a salesperson. She wanted someone in charge. So my manager comes out. He says the exact same words I did. She goes, "See, now that's customer service." We're standing there like we're in the Twilight Zone. Another guy told me, "I don't care what the bank says. I make $10,000 a month. I just don't report it." Cool. So you want us to believe you have cartel level income, but not enough credit to finance a microwave? Got it. These folks walk in with champagne dreams and water bottle wallets. And every time they say, "Do you know who I am?" I know one thing for sure. You're not someone who's buying today. Now, let's talk about the sweet, well-meaning, but wildly uninformed. One time, a young couple walks in, says they want something eco-friendly. Great. I point them to a hybrid. They ask if it runs on water. I said no, but I do have one that runs on lies and hope, if that's what you're into. Or how about the man who asked, "What happens if I put diesel in an electric car?" I had to pause. I wasn't sure if he was joking. He wasn't. Another classic. Woman calls the dealership furious that her Bluetooth won't connect. Says she's been yelling "pair" at the steering wheel for 10 minutes and nothing happened. And how could I forget the man who thought CPO meant certified personal ownership? He said, "That means nobody else ever drove it, right?" Sir, it's a 2021 with 22,000 miles. I had another customer bring her mom to see a car. Mom doesn't say a word the whole time. Then out of nowhere, she walks up to the tire, licks her finger, and touches the tread. She goes, "Tires are too dry. I've seen tire gauges. I've seen tread tests. I've never seen a taste test." But hey, Michelin's next commercial might be now with 33% more flavor. Then there are the ones who know exactly what they're doing, and they're doing it to waste your time. Like the customer who said, "Can you drive this one to my house for a test drive?" I said, "Sure. What's your address?" "Tampa." "We're in Fort Lauderdale." I said, "Sir, that's a 4-hour drive one way." He said, "You said you deliver. This is what I want." I once had a guy spend 3 hours with me, test drove, ran credit, picked out a color, got him approved, and right when we're about to start the paperwork, he says, "I'm not buying it. I just wanted to see if I could get approved for fun." Like it's a damn escape room. And don't get me started on my cousin works at the dealership crew. That invisible cousin is the most powerful person in the auto industry. They can apparently get you a car at cost with 0% interest, no credit, no down payment, and they always just left the business. I've had more people name drop that cousin than actual managers I've worked for. And the fake payoff guys, yeah, I owe like $3,000. We run the VIN. They owe $19,846, and the car smells like wet dog and regret. This segment is for the just plain weird. I once had a customer complain that the air conditioning was too cold during a test drive. She wanted to return the car. I said, "You can turn it down." She said, "But I shouldn't have to." Another guy told me he didn't trust the backup camera because he believed it was sending live footage to the government. Sir, if the NSA is watching you back into a public parking space, I think you've overestimated your importance. We had a customer who refused to drive anything but red cars because they were the fastest. This was 4-cylinder Corolla. It's not beating anything in a race. One woman tried to negotiate pricing using her zodiac sign. She goes, I'm a Pisces, and we don't make impulsive decisions. They're going to have to make this worth my energy. Ma'am, this is a car dealership, not a crystal shop. And finally, the guy who brought his emotional support iguana to his finance appointment. It sat on his shoulder the whole time. Every time we printed a document, the iguana hissed. I couldn't make this up if I tried. All right, I know I'm not the only one with stories like these, so I want to hear your ridiculous customer encounters. Did someone try to test drive a car into a service bay? Did customer demand a free car because it was their birthday? Send me your wildest, dumbest, funniest, most what the F stories to CarPodChats@gmail.com or hit me up on socials at CarPodChats on Instagram and X. We're putting together a future listener-only episode with your stories. Let's laugh, cry, and process the trauma together. Well, that's a wrap on this no-holds-barred episode of CarPod Chats. If you're in the business, you already know. This industry is 50% selling cars and 50% surviving insanity. But hey, if you can laugh at it, it doesn't hurt as bad. If you love the episode, share it with a coworker, share it with your GSM. Hell, play it on a loop in the showroom and leave a review. It helps more people find this little community of ours. Next week, we're shifting gears back to business with a deep dive on the art of following up without sounding desperate. But for now, stay strong, stay caffeinated, and remember, the customer isn't always right, but they are always a story. I'm Dan Malave. This was CarPod Chats. Catch you next time.